Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Mixed Grammar Test Part 6. This video is similar to my other Mixed Grammar Test videos, and I suggest that you pause the video at each question to give yourself a little bit more time. Now, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Number 1. And the answer is, I think this is the coldest state in the United States. Now, in this particular example, we need coldest. We're looking for a superlative, all right? It's the one that is the best out of a group of things. In this case, this is the coldest in all of the United States. Okay, if we use the ER, that's a comparative, and we usually use comparatives when we're comparing two things. All right, you got it? All right, number 2. And the answer is yuck. That was the worst meal of my life. All right, we use worst here because in standard English, the superlative is worst for something that is, in this case, it's the worst meal that you've ever had in your whole life, meaning over all the other meals that you've had. Big statement, right? Now, baddest, all right? This word is a slang word that's used actually in a positive way. It can mean that the best of something. For example, that was the baddest car in the race. And again, there would be a context here, but it's used to mean like the coolest or the greatest. We say the baddest. It could also mean that somebody is tough. He's the baddest guy in town, meaning he's the toughest guy in town. So these are positive meanings, even with best. You see selection B there? But in this particular sentence, we need a negative, and it's actually the superlative, right? And worst is the only one. You got it? Okay. Number 3. And the answer is, the first person asks, were you working last night? And then the second person responds, yes, I didn't go home at all. Now, the structure of this sentence begins with were, all right? This is the past tense. But with the structure of the be verb, were, you need the ing form of the verb work. All right, and that's why it's used here. This is the reason why this is, were you working last night? Any of the other selections don't work because of that structure. Okay, so in this type of a question, and you're going to begin with the be verb, with were you or are you, okay? You need that, what were you doing? That's really what the person is saying here. What were you doing last night? You got it? Okay. Number 4. And the answer is, the first person asks, did you like the movie? And the second person responds, yes, it was interesting, and I want to see it again. Okay, in this answer, it was interesting. What are we describing here? We're describing it, the movie. Okay, a movie is not a human being, so it doesn't have feelings, which is why you wouldn't say it was interested, because the movie couldn't be interested. A person could be interested. Do you got it? That's how you use these two. All right, so it was interesting. You're describing a thing with no feelings. All right, I did a video on this too with my adjectives, so if you're a little bit unsure, take a look at it. All right, number 5. And the answer is, the first person asks, how do you feel after climbing that mountain yesterday? And then the other person responds, I'm still tired. I need more rest. In this case, we need an adjective because we're describing the person, or the person is describing how he felt. And we need tired there. Okay, that's not a verb. The others, A and D, are actually verbs. Tiredness is a noun. All right, but we need the adjective to describe the person. Okay, all right, number 6. And the answer is, the first person asks, do you guys want to get lunch? And then the other person responds, no thanks, we've already eaten. Now, this is the present perfect tense. And when we form the present perfect, what do we use? We use have and then the past participle. In this case, eaten is the past participle of eat, right? So we have already eaten is your answer. Okay? All right, number 7. And the answer is, I forgot my pen. Could you please lend me one? Now, the only one that works here is lend. All right? Lend means that someone gives something to you for a temporary time period. I can lend you my car for the night. All right? Borrow is when you get something from somebody else. You can say, I borrowed his car last night. Okay? In this case, the person wants a pen. So she asks someone else to give her one or to lend her one. Okay? All right. Number 8. And the answers are, I got up late this morning, so I had to skip my breakfast to make it on time. Now, in the first part, we have I got up late. It's the past tense of get up, so that's correct. And then the person uses I had to skip. All right, I had to skip. Again, simple past tense of have. All right, and that's why we have I got up late and I had to skip. You got it? All right. Number 9. And the answer is, I haven't tried Indian food before, but I want to someday. In this case, we're using the present perfect tense, and this is the only one that works here. This is the only structure out of all these that actually work. Okay? We use the present perfect a lot when we're talking about a similar situation like this. Okay? Number 10. And the answer is, we were jolted forward when the bus stopped suddenly. In this particular case, we need the past tense. We're talking about what happened when the bus stopped suddenly. The only structure here that will work is jolted. We were jolted forward, and that's why you use it. Okay? All right, number 11. And the answer is, Alyssa was running when she broke her leg. Now, we use was running here. It's the only one that actually makes sense. Okay, if you put each of the other ones in there, they do not make any sense at all. All right, this is more about structure than anything else. Okay, all right, number 12. And the answer is, Karen received a text message while she was having her morning cappuccino. In this particular sentence, we actually need a conjunction. And while is used as a conjunction here between both of the clauses. Okay? The first one is Karen received a text message. And then we have our conjunction while she was having her morning cappuccino. All right? And also we use while when we have two things that happen at the same time. We describe one. And you'll also, let's say that you got confused with during, because really it is a situation where something happens during something else, right? But during is usually used with just a noun. Like, I couldn't hear during the lecture because people were talking behind me. Do you see? So we use it for a noun. We use during for a noun. But in this sentence, you need a conjunction. And that's why you use while. Okay, number 13. And the answer is, that phone costs a lot. It's way over my budget. Now this one is very tricky. All right, it's way over. First, let's break it down. So we're talking about the budget, okay, the amount of money that the person has to spend. Okay, so if we just say it's over my budget, it means that the price exceeds or is more than I can afford or that I have money for. All right, now when we say that it's way over, this actually means that it's a great amount over when we say way over something. Okay, it's way over is used many different ways. In this case, we're just talking about the amount of money that something costs. Okay, number 14. And the answer is, before traveling to a foreign country, you should learn about its culture. Now, first of all, the only one that makes sense is learn. Also, for the structure, we're using should, and after a modal like should, we always use the base form of a verb, right? So in this case, none of these work except for learn, all right? And learn makes sense. Okay, number 15. And the answer is, Hannah and her sister have been living in Wyoming for 7 years. Now, the structure here, the only one that works is have been living. And what this means is that they have been living for 7 years, right? They started something in the past and they still are living there now. Okay? So this one has to be have been living. And in this particular example, you can also use have lived. All right? They both work here. This is one of those circumstances when they both work. All right? Okay, number 16. And the answer is, the first person asks, where is Lisa? And the second person responds, she's in the garage. She has been exercising there since 7 o'clock this morning. Now, this one, we can tell that since she is there, she's there now, she's doing something, and she has been there since 7 o'clock this morning. So we use the present perfect progressive here, which means that she's doing something and she's still there right now. Okay, the other ones don't work. The other forms here. Okay, so this one has to be A. And one more thing, similar to in number 15, we can use has exercised. All right, we can say she's in the garage. She has exercised there since 7 o'clock this morning. Now, there's a nuance here. You can use both, but the present perfect progressive, the exercising, has been exercising, I think it's more appropriate because when we use that, It's more of an activity the person is doing during this time. Okay, even though you can use it, you could still use has exercised if it were one of our answers here, right? But it's not in there. The only one that we can use is A in this. Okay, number 17. And the answer is Marlene used to be in this class, but now she's in Mrs. Walker's class. All right, so used to be means that a person or something else previously was something else. Okay, used to be. You could say he used to be a fireman. Now he's retired. Okay, used to be something. Or you could even say a thing used to be something else. For example, this store used to be a house. Okay, so the only structure that works here is B. The other three don't work. Okay? All right, number 18. And the answer is, how long did you sleep last night? Now, if you look at these options here, the only one that really works is B. How long did you sleep? What was the duration of your sleep? Okay, the other ones don't fit right. Okay, they're just there to fool you. All right, number 19. And the answer is, famous athletes constantly endorse sports equipment and other products on TV. We choose endorse here. First of all, we have a plural subject. And do you see how famous athletes constantly, they're always doing it. All right, so we have a habit there, right? So we use the present tense. And that's the only one that works here. The endorses doesn't work. D doesn't work because it's a plural subject. So we need endorse. Okay, the final one, number 20. And the answer is, after the verdict, some protesters clashed with the police. All right, clashed means let's say they fought them. Okay? So we need the past tense here because we have after the verdict. So we're telling about something that happened. Okay? And the past tense here is clashed. And that's why it's D. Okay, that's all for this video. Please let me know how you did on the test in the comment section below. Thank you again for subscribing, and remember what I always say, keep practicing. See you next time.